Hey, Rayleigh Besties, welcome back to the Writing with Anna new podcast where we talk about all things writing. In today's episode, I am literally just going to be talking about my books, and it's not because I ran out of ideas. No, I just feel like talking about my projects today, and I'm going to do it because I feel like you guys sometimes like to, hear about my books and just like what I've been working on. And I thought it would be really cool for this episode to kind of do a little list, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be talking about 5 different books that has to do with this criteria that I've made, which is kind of fun. And I'll kind of tell you guys what it is about right now. So it's kind of like, first I'm going to talk about my current project. The second book I'm going to talk about is a book that I want to work on. The third book I want to talk about is a book I should be working on. And then the next book is a book that I probably will never get to, which is interesting. So I'm just going to go through this list, and I think it's so fun just seeing the different projects and just like where they are in my priorities, and like I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and just chat about my books. Let's go. Okay. So, what is my current project I'm working on? A lot of you guys actually are kind of curious about Project O. I have been working on Project Orchestra for a long time. This book is so exciting to me, and I every time I explain it, it just like makes me so excited because it's simply a book about creatives. Like, it's about artists, and I feel like me being a sort of creative person, this sort of book is something that I want, to kind of it's just like one of those books, if you don't know about Project O, I talked about it in a few of my episodes, and also on my Instagram page. I frequently update you guys on my Instagram stories, especially. Follow me, it's under Anna New if you guys want to. But basically, with Project O, it's about a young conductor, and it's kind of based in the 1800s London. It's about the Romantic Revolution, if you guys, I mean, like, I'm a freak. Like, I'm a nerd for modern history. So I've always adored the 1800s as a century. I know a lot of bad stuff happens, but it's great. Anyways, it's kind of set in 1800s London, where the main character, Alexander, is a young conductor who's actually like he comes from a very rich family, but has a very kind of tragic past. And he ends up actually recruiting a busking violinist who has run away from home, and his name's Lewis. So Alex and Lewis, they start to like bond and basically um, revolutionize art. Because if you guys know, just type in the Romantics era or like Romantics Revolution, you'll get sucked into it if you are a creative like me. It's like such a revolution for writers, I feel, because the poets also were extremely big motivators of that revolution, because they basically were very against the establishment and kind of just advocated for human feeling and emotion. And I think I really connect with. So I'm having so much fun researching that. And I've just recently been able to plot it quite well, because it gets to a point where I'm writing the plot of Project O. So it's kind of my zero draft. And if you guys don't know my zero draft, I'm basically writing my book in short sentences. That's how I draft. And I am going to hopefully do a video on how I draft in general. I did film it, but I looked really tired in that video, so I might refilm it again and be more energetic. So, yes, for that book, I have plotted I think I'm like a third way through at least. And then I've actually been able to kind of get through some plot points that I want to hit. And I can see the actual finish line now, which is so exciting. Okay, I've talked too much about Project O. Let's move on to another project. Okay, the second sort of criteria is what's a book that I want to work on? Like, okay, wait, there's basically like all the books I want to work on basically. But recently, I actually really want to try working on a sort of novella collection. And this was actually inspired by a particular photo I saw on Pinterest. And it's kind of like there's a boy who's actually Cillian Murphy. I don't know if you guys know Cillian Murphy. I was probably just like looking up like photos of him, and I saw this particular photo And he has like a cigarette in his mouth, and he's wearing like a pajama set, and it's like on a bench in the night. Sometimes like under a lamppost. And I just had the idea of like a pajama boy who just only appears at night and has just a mysterious like ghost like presence. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of attracted to ghost stories, but he's not actually a ghost. I mean, the book's kind of set, or at least a short novella. I think I want it to be like 10K. It's kind of set essentially in a town that's like a really desolate town in which it never is day, basically. So it's like permanently night, if that makes sense. Anyways, that book ended up inspiring two other books that kind of did come from different inspirations. And I want this collection, as I said, like a short story 10K, 10K, 10K collection to be a sort of just like, I honestly think it reflects a lot about my life. I don't know. It's like something so exciting and it's so different to what I usually write. So the second book of the collection is basically about a group of arsonists who are orphans. Take what you will. And then the third book is about let me think for a moment. I just forgot. It's about, oh yeah, a girl who ends up moving towns with her family, and she finds like an antique store and meets a boy who is there, and he's like, doing running the antique store, and then they end up like meeting, and they kind of have like an instant sort of attraction, and I think they end up getting drunk or something, and something happens. I'm not too sure. It's very much still in the idea stage, and I feel like hopefully listening, you hopefully can like relate to this, that like when the idea is small enough that like you can brainstorm, it's just like that sort of like little tiny idea is what attracts me so much. Like, I've not plotted these three little novellas out at all, yet the premise, the little tiny idea that I have is just so intriguing. And I'm just like, can I write it, please? Can I write it, please? Okay, let's move on. The third criteria thing, did I say five? I meant four. This is the third. So, this is the book that I should be working on. And this is actually the book that I should have worked on instead of writing project.o. Because if you guys don't know, I'm basically trying to write a book every month, a novella, basically. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it this month, since I was starting very much from scratch for Project O, and I just finished plotting Project Prison, as I said in one of my episodes. I don't know. Project Prison was amazing. I cried at the end. Oh, it's such a good book, and I really should write it. But the actual book that I should have been working on after I finished Project Prison, right? So after Project Prison, I was supposed to come on for this month of March to write my third or second draft, second draft of Project I First Met You in a Graveyard, and that is the book that I have a vlog on my channel. It's like ages ago, but that was the first book I ever wrote back to front. And I still am yet to kind of actually write it properly and like go revise it. And I really want to. And I think about Kaido and Amen. I've talked about them so much on my channel. I just keep thinking about them because I love them so much. I want to hug them. And like, it's such a powerful story. And I just feel like I should be writing it because I think it's just as good as Project Ghost, for example. That technically is a book that I guess I should be making a priority, because if you guys don't know, I actually haven't told you a lot about Project Ghost, the book that I wrote for NaNoWriMo. I've talked about it to a few of my friends, and I've sent it to some people, which is really, really cool. But it's like nothing what you guys think. And I kind of love that. And that's the book that I actually hopefully want to try to publish, because it's one of those books that has really stuck out to me, and one that's actually been in the making for like at least 1.5 years. And yeah, I'm really excited to hopefully get it to a point where I can start querying, which is crazy. And I just can't wait till that day. I just like have to get there first. And I think I'm definitely still perfecting my craft of writing and finding my writing style. I don't think the book is there yet. I think most of the story is. It's just a matter of hopefully getting some sort of feedback, because I've gotten like no feedback but from a few people. Like one of my friends, he read it in like a few days and like was like, it's so good. Like I want to talk with you about it. I'm like, oh my god, you're literally my angel. And then my cousin actually read it, and I kind of told her most about the story, and she ended up like skipping to the end because she like wanted to see the last scene because I explained it so explicitly to her, and she's like, oh my gosh. But I'm like, girl, don't do that. You're supposed to read the whole thing. So I'm still waiting on feedback, and it's been like what, 2, 3 months, 3 months. So I'm losing hope. I'm not getting much traction in that project, which is fine. And I know I'm very much still a young writer. So where was I going with this? Yeah. What was I saying? So sorry, guys. My brain's kind of fried from uni today. What was I? Oh yeah, book I should work on. So Project I First Meeting in Graveyard is the book I should be working on, but then technically also Project Ghost, if that makes sense. Okay, lastly, I won't chew your ears off anymore. Lastly is a book that I probably will never get to work on, which is interesting. I have a few books I don't think I'll get to in a long time. There's a particular book that's like based off very heavily. I don't know if you know what's his name? Suburban. He writes the song Freak Show, I think. That song, like, wow. Wow, it's an amazing song. Gives me like Night Circus, if you've read that book by Aaron Morgenstern, that sort of vibe, and I love it so much, but it's more like dark and like I have a whole book and I love the idea. I love the premise so much. It's so cool. And it's like one of those dark sort of like gang, but also like, yeah, it's so hard to explain. I don't think I'll explain it too much, but I really want to work on it, but I've just never ever gotten past like the brainstorming phase, which is so, so weird. I think additionally to that, I don't think I'll ever be able to work on this particular project, Project Gemspell, which is like a fantasy book. And I've explained it a few in my like other videos and vlogs, which is really cool. I do love the idea, but it's just so not overdone. But I don't know. It's just like a book that I'm like, it's solid, but it's not like there's no wow factor. Do you know what I mean? Like there has to be a wow factor, like how, for example, Project O really grasped me when Project Gemspell's just always been like a good practice sort of project. If you guys don't know that project, it's kind of like inspired by Howl's Moving Castle a bit, and also Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter books. Also, kind of off topic, but I've been watching the Shadowhunters Shadowhunters series on Netflix, like the bad one, the one that like everyone hates, and it's so bad it's good. And I'm convinced that it's just amazing. Like, oh, I love it so much. So if you guys like want anything, and if you love the Shadowhunter world, like it's just like you get used to it, and like you kind of get over the cringy like shots or the cringy like acting, and it's just like so fun, and like I love it. So I like watched 2 episodes tonight. Should be doing my assignments, but oh well, that's that. Anyways, they're my videos. I mean, they're my books. Sorry, my brain's fried. Thank you so much for listening in to my podcast episode for this week. I think I have another one hopefully coming out on Friday or something. But yeah, I love you guys so, so much. Please let me know if you want more chatty. This was a very chill episode, and I felt like throughout I was able to talk a bit slower because I usually try to get everything out, because I'm not sure if you know, but throughout my YouTube sort of career, and at least like making videos and talking to the camera, I've always wanted to cut out things. And of course, having a podcast, it being like 12, 15 minutes long, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like no one's going to listen to the full thing. What's going to happen? So I'd like have to talk fast. But like I'm realized like if you guys am not interested, just pause or come back to it, or like don't just like exit. So no, I don't get offended. But like I think just being able to kind of be like, okay, some people do listen to me, which means the world. And I think having faith in myself that at least like my ramblings are for someone, even if it's just myself to listen to sometime in the future. But yeah. But thank you so much also just for listening in and for supporting me in all my projects. And I hope your projects are going really, really well. I truly, truly hope they're going well. Anyways, I love you guys, and I wish you luck in your projects. And definitely stay tuned for my next episode. Okay, bye guys.